beads, not money. I'm just kidding.
But how do you feel about, like...
I feel like an Indian.
Hmm.
How do I feel about what?
Well, considering, like what the setup is for the music business or whatever business it is, because it's business. But about, like, getting your stuff out.
Well, if it sits up, then it should start crawling. Then it should start walking. And then it should start running. And then it should start knowing that it's doing that. You know what I mean? I think it's a setup that doesn't want to walk or crawl. That's what I think. I wonder why all of our musicians like Don Cherry and John Coltrane, Charlie Parker, and all those people had to go to Europe, to be able to play, in front of people, don't you? That may be indicative. I know that somebody playing free music is not as commercial as a hamburger stand, but is it because you can eat a hamburger and see it and hold it in your hand, and you can't do that to music? Is it too free to control, maybe?
Didn't used to be, was it?
I don't know, I didn't used to be here. You know what I mean? I don't read books because they're square. They don't go in very easy. And if they do go in, they're a controller because they have lines. I don't believe in straight lines either, or any lines. I believe in circles. And I have to believe that way or I would fall apart. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. At least...
If I wasn't controlled, if I believed that way, I'd fall apart. And you see, I don't think that there's, pardon me, a controller or a controller. You know what I mean?
Do you think it's in people not knowing, or just being taught and believing, and not realizing that it's not that way at all?
I think that might be it.
Yeah.
You know what? You know who told me that? A flower. Believe it or not. With a bug in the middle of it. Watch out for flowers with bugs in the middle of them. But don't read in anything.
How do you feel about getting more of this information out to people?
How do I feel about it? What do you mean?
Well, it's just that you know a lot that most people don't, and I wonder how you feel about getting the information out to them.
Say that one more time.
Well, it's just that, a lot of things you've just been saying, most people don't know.
I think they all know it.
Well, they aren't awake enough to, say, know it consciously. How's that?
I wonder why that is. That's pretty strange. I wonder if that might be vindicated. I think that everybody's perfect when they're a baby.
Yeah.
And I just never grew up.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying I'm perfect. Because I did grow up. But I'm still a baby. Whatever that means. I'm just not as serious as the rest of these people, I don't think. Do you know what I mean? I can't get very serious, about funerals or anything like that. Can you?
No, not that.
No. Well, I think that's what they're serious about.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever think of, apparently you don't like written words.
I really don't, but it's a good exercise for the fingers, isn't it?
Mm.
That's about it, I think.
Yeah.
I think it stops you from doing other things.
Mm.
It stops you, when you start to write something, it stops you from seeing all around
Mm.
when you focus your
Yeah.
attention that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But isn't that just sort of what's flowing out is what was being absorbed at other times, no? I mean, it's like, you know.
That's true, yeah, that's true, but let's put it this way. I'm trying to do my own language, without any periods.
Yeah.
I like music better, I think, than words. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So do
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder how many people do. How many people do? How many people do?
truthfully, I think that most of them, of course, I can't make a judgment on it. You know what I mean? There's no way to measure that anymore, is there? I think the Beatles may have proved something. You know what I mean? I've never seen anybody dance to words or move to words. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On paper.
Yeah. Right.
But I've seen a lot of people move to music.
How do you feel about film?
Mm. I like film. Yeah, I sure do. And I don't like what some people display on it.
Yeah. Right.
I think they ought to have more love scenes and less war jobs. Don't you? Don't you though?
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, I think these war jobs tend to make people not exercise, and then I don't think their head is with their heart.
Mm. Yeah.
I think they get their excitement off of watching something, with a lot of attention focused on it, rather than getting a natural excitement, like by walking out in the garden or walking out in front of a semi. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Do you ever think of well, it's not practical apparently, but ever play with the idea of doing a film? Or I mean, do you have ideas for films?
I sure do. I sure do. I've always shot my own movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah. I think if everybody shot their own movie, it would be nicer, don't you?
Yeah, but it's sort of a means of education too, isn't it? I mean, oh shit, I don't know.
I don't either. I don't either. We're getting into Catholicism or Somism
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
you know,
cause that, yeah.
Gazette. We're getting into Gazette. For kazoo. Or Kazam.
When I was talking to you on the phone, you were saying about doing a blues, mainly a blues album, right? Or something,
Yeah, blue feeling, you know. Blue is the color of peace.
Hmm.
Did you know that?
No, no, I don't.
Yeah, it's interesting. Green, uh, when it's untampered with, is the color of wisdom, isn't it, Lori?
Green is logic.
Logic.
And yellow is wisdom.
Yellow is right. Yellow is say that again. I get mixed up on these theories.
Green is
Logic.
red is love, blue is peace, and yellow is wisdom.
Yellow is wisdom.
Hmm. You think
But
this? Go ahead.
I think that's pretty significant, don't you? That people have their logic mixed up. You know what I mean? Like green, money. You know what I mean?
How does that
That's
relate to
Well, it's just a,
the
thought.
music?
Pardon me?
How would that relate to music when you say that you're a blues?
I'm gonna do a peaceful album. Laughing to keep from crying album. I think, like I hear a coyote howl, up here on the hill, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
I hear it.
incredible.
It's nice that I can hear it. It's nice that he can howl. He hears me howl too. Anyway, I hear a coyote howl up here, and I think that he howls music to prove that he's there. Do you know what I mean? To hear his echo back. Do you know what
Wow.
I mean?
Yeah.
I just think that he's doing a natural function, out of the mouth and into the ears. Right?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't think there's any other reason. Well, I guess it could be. I really wouldn't.
You see, I have the ability to reason, so I don't know what his reasoning is. There's the answer. I think that anybody that chooses not to use their ability to reason is the reason that we were talking about
Yeah.
before. I think that man could get along without books. Don't you? And be
Yeah.
quite happy
Sure.
because he'd have to have his own experience.
People in Africa seem to be
Oh,
pretty.
man. Really pretty.
Yeah. And
I think that, what is his name, Pierre Hallet?
I don't know.
John Pierre Hallet. Have you ever read any of his books?
No.
I think that his books are really worthwhile.
Olay? How do you spell Olay?
I don't know. I forgot how it's spelled.
Hmm?
Hallet.
Hallet. He's really nice. He did a thing called Congo Kitabu. That's really, it's pretty musical, for writing. But he went over to Africa to see if he could do something about them going over to Africa. You know what I mean?
I don't understand that.
It's getting pretty progressy over there.
Oh,
Too
I see.
progressy to have any animals left.
Yeah.
Which is part of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like when I say the moon's our eyes, We see the moon, don't we? So it's our eye. Animals see us, don't they? So we're their animals, right?
Yeah. These political people want to change the social structure so that their thinking seems to be in a nutshell that once you change the social structure, then it'll allow people to, sort of free them so that they'll be able to for themselves or something like that.
Won't think for themselves?
Will. Won't.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would be ideal, wouldn't it?
Except there's never been any successful revolution.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think that there should be a revolution.
That's what's been advocated by a lot of political people.
You don't think there should be a revolution?
No, I don't think there should be a revolution. I just got through saying, to think good thoughts. You know what I mean?
But supposing
And I don't think that anything ever came out of bloodshed, other than lack of perfection.
Supposing the suppression and pressure increases, as it is.
Well, must be awfully desperate then. Somebody must be awfully desperate.
It's getting that over.
What makes you think there would even have to be a revolution if people are that desperate? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Except what bothers me about that is that, they'll want to strike out.
Or to maintain. Just to maintain.
Because they are so desperate. They don't like the idea of other people having fun when they're not, and so on. I think.
It's very hard to live like you want in a camp.
Yeah. I know. I wished I had a solution, for both parties. If there are parties, if there needs to be a party. It's a shame when you have to have a party to have fun. I mean, even a birthday party. When you're reborn every moment. You know what I mean? I wonder if that's obsolete thinking.
Wow. You feel pretty free? You feel very free, no? Not really.
Do I?
Yeah.
Do you think I do?
Yeah, I should think so, yeah.
I feel pretty free. I mean, I will never be free until all the oceans run together, though, will I? Will you?
No, of course not. No.
As long as there's one person that isn't free, how can I feel free? And feel. Right? So it's definitely more than a problem. It's a disease, of the whole universe. Isn't it?
We really put ourselves in a bummer.
Yes, we have. I don't think we should get frantic about it, or else we wouldn't be any more than the other, would we? Would we?
Than the other.
If we were to get really paranoid about all of this,
yeah.
we wouldn't be thinking any more. We might strike out right?
Yeah.
So perhaps I'm striking out as artistically as I can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody hurt by, art.
Except the artist.
It didn't want to be. You know what I mean? I don't think that I've ever been hurt by my art.
You've suffered.
I don't think I've suffered. I think other people have misinterpreted me. Don't you really? I mean, what do you think? I mean, meeting me, what do you think, really?
No, you're pretty together.
Well, it's like this. It's like there is definitely
no visible pain that I can see.
there is
yeah.
there is definitely an imbalance in nature right now. So naturally, I'm suffering some, right?
Yeah.
As everyone
Yeah.
is that even knows that it's possible that there is an imbalance. You see, I can't be responsible, I can't be responsible, period. Without the period.
No, you should tie this up. Go ahead.
Tie it? No, we don't want to tie it up.
Tie it up,
For God's sake, no.
There'll be a lengthy pause.
Lengthy pause.
I'm very fond of pauses. I used to at one time cut them down, but in interviews, and now I find pauses are great because
silence.
Put the time in.
Silence is a very rare delicacy, isn't it? It's patience, isn't it? Silence teaches patience, doesn't it? And patience teaches silence.
True.
So I wouldn't cut out anything.
No, I don't.
I know, I really don't.
But I really have to fight those bastards because.
I know. I know. I think that less is more.
Yeah.
It's really been nice, Really.
Good.
Really nice. I'm going to tell John when I saw you, if I ever go to England again.
Good.
Yeah, I like John Peel.
Yeah, I do too.
Like you too.
He was the first one the first time I heard him, I said, wow, that's the first time I've ever heard anyone in my life be himself on the air.
He sure does it, doesn't he? Yeah. In the air, even. Almost even in the air.
Yeah.
I don't use any narcotics myself, which is true. I really don't.
But what about the song about I feel like acid? Acid.
That's what I said. I feel like I said. I was using it. I
but
said.
It's spelled AHCID.
I don't know. It wasn't any inference, drug-wise.
Really?
No, really.
Good.
Swear.
Yeah. Licked a stamp and all that. You're being honest now. You
I'm
don't
really,
have to talk about
no,
it.
I'm really being honest. No, I'm really being honest. You know, there wasn't any inference in that. You know, with me, I think probably. That's really odd that you say that.
Yeah, I know.
I think maybe somebody tried to make it look that way.
Well,
You know what I mean?
you
No, you
know,
know who I think tried to make it look that way? Robert Krasnow.
because I wouldn't have picked it up by the lyrics, but I picked it up by the spelling of it, AHCID, and you know. So, oh,
I thought that was. Huh? Yeah. You see, I was over in England when that album was put out. You know, he did you see, I was over in England and he rushed that album out without our consent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he also phased it and messed it all up. He put a lot of his thing into it, which was all said, I guess, you know, or either that or acceptance, you know.
Oh, so that's why.
That's why it's as bad as it is, you know. I don't think it was the group's fault. I really don't, because I think they played their ass off on it. You know, as much ass as they had to play off.
That's interesting.
Yeah, well, it's happened a lot of times, man. You know. Happened on the first one. Happened on the second one. I had a fight like hell, or it would have happened on the third one. That's true. It's like I say, I can't lie, you know. You really can't. You brought it up, What?
I thought you could say something.
I was going to say this. I was going to say that I cried, you know, before I ever heard of acid. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I also breathed and ate and slept and was happy. I think that perhaps that's, you know, you want me to tell you what I really think, man? I think that the restrictions that are put on the people nowadays, I think that fucking acid is the only way they can get out of it, even for a minute, if they don't happen to dig the certain movies that are out. And marijuana. And I think it's a shame that they have to even resort to anything. Do you know what I mean? It's just really absurd. The hell are they doing? You know, making a trap with a trap? I almost got serious just then. Trap with a trap with a trap. To be or not to be, that is the question. To be or not to be, that is the question.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. I like the question off of that. But I'll tell you what I like better than that. A bee in the garden.
Why do you think it is that people are reacting so strongly against the long hairs and all that? They really feel very you know, frightened of him or something? Or this,
On the men's part, I think that it's harder when you're driving by about 60 miles an hour in a convertible to distinguish whether it's a male or a female. And on the female's part, I think it's the same. Anything else has got to be preposterous. Do you know what I mean? Oh, really? That's it. I'm just not that angry.
you think it's mainly the church that got that trip going?
Uh,
Boy, it's in, you
I think, like I say, it's man giving up his ability to reason. You know what I mean? I think all human beings are actually really lazy. You know, if there is such a word. I mean, I think that they like to play, and I think maybe they're in competition. You know, whatever that is. I think it was devised to move masses, don't you?
Yeah.
Might have been an instinctive way of measuring
Progress.
survival with
Competition?
an alternate to killing somebody is to beat them at a game, which is a human trait.
To beat them in a game.
Yeah.
I think a game is a horrible thing.
But everybody plays it.
Well, if you're playing a game, I guess you wouldn't be able to see somebody who wasn't. And I guess if you weren't playing a game, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? They'd probably crucify you, wouldn't they? Thinking you weren't like them. Right?
Yeah, it's been done.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah. But the thing is that the only reason they crucify you, I think, is because they want to see if you bleed also, don't you? I think people have gotten too far out, don't you? I mean, too far out. You know what I mean? Away from nature.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think the blame lies on any one thing.
The what?
I don't think the blame lies on any one thing. You can't.
That's what makes it such a difficult problem.
Yeah. I think that that the people are going to have to start enjoying themselves more, playing more. I think everybody should play a musical instrument.
They have more time to play than they ever had before, though, and they're sicker than they ever were before.
I don't know. I've been an open house. What was that now? Like, what were we saying? Oh, yes.
We're talking about leisure time.
What, the leisure time. I say when you're playing, people misunderstand it. You know, if you're older than a child, for, you know, aggressiveness, you know, and evil. It seems to me, you know, because I know if I walked outside and played like I wanted to, man, you know, like, I don't know what might happen. You know what I mean?
I think we know what
Yeah. Then I think it's what's fault.
Do you think there is such a thing as evil?
I think evil is a loss of clarity. Don't you? I think any distortion is mighty poor policy. You know what I mean? I'm glad you do. That's so nobody will bother me. I just can't. I think it's getting closer and closer to isolated playing. I'll tell you. I think that this unbalance is making some people really accept themselves as a human being.
It started, you know, up that way, though, didn't it? It started up with a lot of people playing together. Just like, you know, in the last couple of years. And now it's become, like you say, it's become isolation playing.
Yeah.
What would you attribute that to?
I think if you're in a square, you're still a circle.
Unless the square constricts on you. Then what did you call
The square constricts on you. Means you must be awfully important, and their attention is going on to something that makes them more a square. Now, why would a circle want to be a square when there's no way to do it?
To relieve the pressure.
Importance, you know, self-importance.
I wish I could answer that. But if I did answer it, I doubt if it would sell. Even if I could, so I don't think it would be very important to some squares that think they're squares.
What's the possibility of having some of your poetry published? I mean, you must have other... Or do you think of it really in terms of lyrics with music? And
I've always thought of it as, I've always thought music was more playful. So I'm, you know, I don't know. Words are, can be misinterpreted awfully easy, right?
yeah, sure.
And music, I don't think music can really be misinterpreted. I really don't. Do you?
Misunderstood, perhaps.
It,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, it would be misunderstood if they weren't aware of what was being played.
If they were aware of what was being played, they would be definitely misunderstood.
Do you think they're getting away with a lot in terms of the music that's going on now? Say,
If they think they're getting away with a lot, then I don't think that the music should be out. Well, that really must be significant.
Making its presence known.
is that yours?
Huh?
Is that yours?
Yeah, but it's a silly thing. You know, it's nothing. Really.
So he's gonna leap out and read it into the microphone. You know, do you do any reading on any of the things which are loosely termed as mysticism? You know, a lot of things like that in the air.
No. No. I just wonder
'Cause
when
this
they're
color
going to
thing,
have
I
another
wonder-
radiation count. They haven't had one since '57. That's the things in the air that I think is mysticism. And that's maybe even circumcision. Circumcision. Is that? Is this yours? Circumstance.
Used to be, I don't know. Did you used to be really concerned about so many people, meaning of life and this sort of thing? I mean, really, you know.
I was a sculptor, you know,
Yeah.
and I think it taught me a lot of patience. And I think that is the meaning of life. Pretty sure. By not being pretty sure. I think it's rather obvious, frankly. Do you know what I mean? Don't you, though, really? I mean, really, though.
Why is it so difficult for people to follow that course if that's the right course?
Because they're following.
Touche.
And to follow, it's pretty coarse. I'll tell you. Sure is a good thing we don't know what we're talking about, isn't it?
Do you ever? I assume you don't sculpt anymore at all. Or do you in a sense?
I've done one thing just recently, other than music. I did a little sculpture about, I think it weighs around 7 or 8 pounds, just out of white earth, you know, white clay.
Mm.
Would you like to see it?
Yeah.
Shall we show it to them?
Right.
Let's do it.
I'll tell you, there's a few people out there who will be able to see it.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that haven't read any mysticism.
Oh, you can bring it in.
Yeah. First thing I've done in 14 years, or 18 years. It was about a 5-minute job.
Does clay come from around here?
Yeah.
Jesus.
What caused that?
Yeah,
My
really.
fingers.
What caused the action of you actually doing sculpting something again? You know?
The bass player, Rocket Morton, just wanted to see me do something.
Didn't really matter what.
So I just did something.
Did you record? You were saying you recorded the album here, or something, and then you mixed it later.
Some of
Recorded
it here.
Some of it.
Some of it here. Yeah.
You ever have a feeling of where things seem to be going? I mean, just earth-wise?
Fortunately, I don't.
Yeah.
Because if I were watching where things were going, I guess I would be a tight, focused voyeur, right? I'm not. You know what? I don't think they'll go anywhere off the Earth. Or wherever else they go.
Supposing by the time that this is aired, that they have already, in fact, stepped on the moon.
I would think that
'Cause
the moon stepped back on them. Let's see. What was I going to say? I'll never recall it. Can't recall things. It's none of my business, right? Or to call or recall is none of my business. I was going to say something and I can't.
You must have a pretty good time just walking down the street. I mean...
Oh yeah, sure I do. I have a good time just walking.
Do you sometimes take trips out into the country further than, I mean, you're living in it now, in a sense.
I don't have to because I am living in it now.
Yeah.
But I really feel bad about people that don't get to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's one thing I'd like to say. I like to say this one thing. I like to say, why do people think they're going to get higher by getting on the moon when there is no high or low? Maybe it's a concept. Maybe it's the concept's fault. I guess you'll have to ask a concept, right?
Did you have to sort of chop down some of that in yourself? I mean, you know, you were saying that you didn't grow up from being a baby, but you did slightly anyway. So you really didn't have to.
I tried to be serious one time and it almost killed me. I'll tell you. So I just never have been that serious. I tried to be. I find every time I try to be serious, I lose my mind. My mind.
Yeah.
Or the mind.
What do you think? People like Leary. Or say
I think
Leary.
it's Peter O'Toole of junkiedom.
Oh.
You have a way of closing off the subject.
No, not really, but I can't follow it.
Oh, come on now. That's if you can't follow it, it means that you're fine, and so am I.
But he seems to be on a trip where he's trying to broadcast people being on a sort of joy trip, or maybe that's not fair either. But anyway, where people trying to get joy back into their life, I guess.
I'll tell you, I don't mind him.
You see that, or hear that thing about Nixon and the new laws that he's trying to push through about on pot and acid? Did you read that?
No, I don't ever read the paper. It's too popular. I like realism. I don't like abstractions. What does it say? Tell me about
I
it.
can't
like
believe
to hear
it.
about it.
First offense for sale and possession, 2 to 10 years. Second offense, 5 to 40
For what?
for possession of acid, the possession and sale. Now,
Is that right?
now, right now the maximum penalty for just possession apparently is like a year, I say. So they're going to up that from a minimum of 1 to 5, I think, the first offense, and then something like 2 to 10 for the second offense, just possession. Well, this is a ruling that he's, or a,
I
what
don't
do they
see
call
how they
it?
expect
A
to
bill.
make any money that way.
Oh,
Huh?
yeah.
That's almost as fun as the pike. When one of the trolleys is off the roller coaster, isn't it? Maybe the trolley is off the roller coaster. Or maybe the roller coaster is off the trolley.
Both are off the rails.
I don't know. It sounds like a railroad. No, I don't know. It sounds to me like
You did it again. You closed out another subject.
Yeah.
Well, you said if people couldn't reach or certain films, or they didn't. What films did you have in mind?
well, mine and any one that you could possibly see. You see, I feel that all right. Well, use anything as the light, or nothing as the light. And when the light comes on, it would be odd for me to think that anyone in the world should run unless they were hiding.
However, I'm not too sure what that has to do with film.
A hell of a lot, I'll tell you. That's where it all came from. What light has to do with film?
Oh,
You've
no,
got to have
I
light
know
to
that,
film.
yeah.
I know what it's got to do with. I know what the light's got to do with it. It's the projectors that I don't know about, and what do you call it?
Screen.
The screen. Yeah, it's the screen that scares me, not the light. The projectors, I think, should stay in the pants. I know they'll be there anyway, even if there aren't any pants. Now, what does that mean? You think it's a sexual problem? I mean, It's got to be a sexual power. Anybody knows that a square won't fit in a circle. The circle is there before the square.
Yeah.
So, that means that the circle's a circle, right? I do believe that nothing's changed. I think that somebody's been fooled into believing it.
Yeah.
You can feel the images. Oh, maybe the images that are projected on the screen are all that important then.
I think they ought to take the screen down. That's what I meant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take the damn screen down.
How
Yeah.
would you observe the images? What would
As
you
humbly as possible.
You said earlier that you were interested in.
And that's what I'm doing right now.
You're interested in film. What would you do if you were given the opportunity to make a film?
If I were given the opportunity to make a film, by what?
Well, if you were given the opportunity and the wherewithal to make a film of your choice, just go out and given the camera.
If I weren't given the opportunity to make a film, it would still be of my choice.
But what would you make? What sort of film would you make?
Man, you're asking me. You're asking me to stop my movie to explain myself. Do you know what I mean? You better come over here more often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
You see, people can't talk. That's the trouble.
How do you talk to other people?
Quack, quack, quack. I don't know what it's a sham, and you know how we feel.
The Rolling Stone article.
What do I
The
think of it?
review, yeah.
I think that the man is really a player.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I think that the man that wrote it is in this group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, that really was exceptional.
Yeah, he's pretty nice. He wants to do an album with Mingus. I mean, make Mingus record again. Not make him record, make it possible for him to record. And he also wants to, I think he's going to write a big article on Charlie Mingus in Rolling Stone. 7-page article, which would be real nice.
Has Mingus been playing back in New York?
I think he was put in jail in New York because he was trying to open a new free school of music, and they found marijuana on the premises, which is pretty funny. They also could have found a bug or a geranium or anything else. You know what I mean? Or some dust in the corner. Significant dust they found in the corner, so like it had more emphasis on it than the other dust in the room, and off to jail one of our greatest artists goes. You know what I mean?
That was after they threw his furniture out in the street.
Yeah, right.
Really?
Sure.
Why?
Some hassle with the landlord.
Oh. You think of leaving country?
Have I ever thought of leaving the country?
Yeah, like permanently,
Do you mean the Earth?
No, the United
You
States.
mean the United States?
Yeah, the United
I don't
States.
think they know I'm here now. Do you think they know you're here? Really, though? I sound absolutely not serious.
Did you ever get? Did I?
Better not laugh too much if you're going to put this on the radio. Right? They're liable to get us for breathing with all our holes open. Isn't that true? Isn't it, though? Oh, man.
Wow. No, you said that was your passport. This. When I first came in, this, right?
You mean my colored breather? My horn?
Yeah, your horn.
Yeah. Well, if I'm going to say something on here, and this is going to go on the radio, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we edit it too, so,
Oh,
you know.
well,
I mean, you know.
I'd like to say one thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's colored or you wouldn't be able to see them.
Yeah. That won't be edited. No. It's my show, so I can put on whatever I want.
I think
If
you ought to
want,
put
say
the
don't
whole
put too
thing
much.
on, because if you edit it, you're a judge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think you're a judge, so you probably put the whole thing on. I think we're just putting on anyway, don't you? Being on here. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, though? We're not even here.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean there.
There's a couple of, bodies here, right?
Yeah.
But, they won't see us on the show, will they?
That's the point. No.
Don't tell me you came all the way from Philadelphia and didn't bring any cream cheese.
You know, with
I could really dig some cream cheese right now. Do you know that they're about to poke their genitals into our cream cheese moon right now?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? That's my eye.
What do you mean your eye?
The moon. It's part of me.
I don't understand.
Why don't they go poke it in the sun, man? They're afraid to do that?
Yeah.
They might get burned up, right?
Yeah, right.
They're not very daring, are they?
What do you think about that?
Well, if they cut the nose off the rocket, I think it would be a little more natural. Do you know what I mean? If they could get up there without having the hole in the front closed up, I think that I would enjoy it more, and I'd like them more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Well, you do know what I mean.
I'm not sure.
It's just that you have to put this on the radio.
Yeah, I guess I do know what you mean.
Of course you know what I mean. In other words, they don't come, and they do come, and they're kidding themselves.
Jesus.
I know what you mean. I think we'll all be all right, though. I have hope, so I'll be all right.
Do you really have hope?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Most of the time.
I really do, to be perfectly truthful with you, but all the time. Yeah.
But how? How do you do it?
How do I do it?
Yeah, right. I was just driving through here, and I was losing mine on the way, We drove all the way up.
Well, I just figure that if I'm breathing in and out, I'm doing all I can. And if I'm doing all I can, then that's all I can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, do you really feel that you're doing all you can?
Yeah. All they'll let me do.
Yeah.
You see, I can't be bought. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And believe me, I'm doing all I can do. Because I won't lie. I just can't, I can't do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that shows up in your music, you know.
I know, but do you know how much they try to lay over my music to make people buy it?
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to buy it. You know what I mean? And I really mean that.
Would you want to give it away, or
I
why?
sure do. Because I'll tell you where I got it. I didn't have to buy it.
Yeah.
So if I do that other thing, how can I do that? I can't really do that.
Well,
That's how I have hope. I think a lot of people have hope. You know that? I really do. To be really truthful about it, I think a lot of people have hope. I think that the war means that a lot of people are on the last form of communication. You know, because when you have to shoot a bullet at somebody just to say hello, that's pretty weird, isn't it? It would be better if they gave them all boxing gloves. Do you know what I mean? Or shoes.
shoes.
Yeah, I think maybe.
Why shoes?
Just why not? Yeah. It's if they didn't give them why, I think they'd all be all right. Don't you think the church did that?
Yeah.
Why is a controller? I think that they're trying to put a square in a circle. They'll do it?
No, they'll stop. Or they'll find out they can't. I think they're finding out now.
A lot of people find it out on their deathbed. It's still not too late. I think if we live, we live.
Yeah.
When we die, we die.
You always felt that way? I mean,
Hmm?
did you used to be really concerned about dying like most people are?
No. No, I die every time I breathe in. I live when I let out. Right? I think that if everybody cut out all cleverness, there would be no anxiety. That includes all of their five and dime, stand-ups and everything, all over.
Do you think people will ever be ready for that, except for a very small number of people?
Depending upon whether they want to breathe with all their holes open.
Don't you get exasperated, though, by the general sort of level of, people?
You can't even be responsible for yourself. So if you try to be responsible for anybody else, it blows you right into it. Right?
Yeah.
You can't breathe for somebody else. Nor can you hold your breath for somebody else. Or you're both contributing to it. To your demise, is that right? There's one of those words. First one I've said. One of those straight line controllers.
What about some of these people who are trying to organize to make change, some radicals?
They remind me of a rabbit's foot on a keychain. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Do you know what I mean? I think we ought to just put it on a tape loop and laugh all the way. And you know what I mean? I think that would be the best thing we could possibly do. Don't you? Or?
No, no thanks.
No, you want one. Would a man offer a woman an armadillo? Is that that commercial? Would you? I'd love one. I'd like a star. I'd like a star-nosed mole too. John Peel would like an aardvark. John Peel has a John Peel has a funny thing with me. You see, the way we're built, we can't wear any of these new rapier pants. You know what I mean? So that makes us, nonconformists right out front. Only because I don't want to hurt my, blood pressure. You know what I mean? Tight pants make me itch.
Yeah.
He was talking about that the last time I was over there.
Were you playing when you were over there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we played at the Middle Earth 2 hours and 47 minutes without stopping. Of course, we never begun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because we're always playing.
Right.
You never stop playing to start again.
Jesus, yeah.
Because if you stop playing, you're dead. And when you're alive, how can you be dead? You know what I mean?
How do you keep it together if you don't think in terms of breaking things up in units?
I guess I don't believe in 3 square meals. Or a day.
You were brought up on the desert or near the desert, right? Well, at least that's what...
I was born in Glendale, California, and I was a sculptor until I reached the age of 13. I was studying with Agostinho Rodriguez, from Portugal, the sculptor. Then my folks moved me to Mojave and told me that all artists were queers, and I couldn't get away because the police wouldn't let me, every time I'd run away, they'd bring me back home, to Mojave, and then I got in a fight every day, just trying to walk with all of the transients in Mojave, and I say transients only because they thought they were. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Well, what's a transient? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody who likes to go for a walk farther than
Right.
somebody who is a resident.
Yeah.
So the thing is that what's a resident? What's a residue? What's a reservoir? What's a resolution? What's a rhinoceros? Get the point? So the thing is, and he's even been attacked, because his horn's good medicine for sex, right?
That's right.
Hair horn,
Yeah,
they grind up his horn, man. We're lucky they haven't found out about our teeth. You know what I mean? Or somebody hasn't found out about, So anyway, I finally was able to leave my folks, at 18. Although you never leave anybody, you're just not as near them as you were before. So I got down here and tried to do an album. You know what I mean? Then I tried to do another album. Then I tried to do another album. And I just can't do an album. Do you know what I mean? Because that's final. Which leaves me in quite a predicament. But not really. I'm laughing about it. I'm not in the predicament. Whoever somebody else is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the truth. I can't help it. It is the truth, man.
How long after you arrived here did you do the first? You didn't have a group together when you were. Well, you were with
I started.
Zappa at some point or another, right?
Zappa was in Lancaster, and I stepped down from Mojave to Lancaster and met Zappa. And I met Zappa, and Zappa met me, and then he left the desert, and I was a commercial artist then. But I got fired the first day I went to work because they didn't believe I was a commercial artist. You know. But they believed I was a commercial artist. But I happen to know there isn't such a thing. You know, in nature. You see. So then I went down with Zappa. I think it was 1960. Lori, what year was it that we went down and we were going to make a movie? 63. Went down to make a movie in 63 or 64, and he did a lewd film. You know, what's a lewd film? You know, he did a film that they busted him for doing, right? So that ended our movie, right? Because he was in the clink. You know, he was in a square, in a circle. So some square put him in a square. You know. He was a circle in a square, but couldn't walk out of it. You know, because he did a lewd movie. It offended someone.
Was it in the doing of it or showing of it?
It was in the making of it. It was in the making. It was in the cake. But anyway, so I had to leave there because I was on a vacation at the time from there, and he had made this movie, and I didn't know he was making it, and they knew he was making it, and I didn't care if he was, but they did. So I didn't see him again for till when?
Last year.
Last year. Oh, one time I saw him at a fried chicken place, you know, eating fried chicken. Open air job, you know, and said hello to him, and he said I was paranoid, you know. So I saw him about, when was it?
Last year.
Last year I saw him, and he said that I could do a free album, a completely free album. You know, and I said, I don't think I could do anything else. And he says, but I'll put it out, you know. So we did, and it's out. Trout Mask Replica. And
How do you feel about it?
what, Trout Mask Replica? Good.
Yeah.
I feel real good about it. The people that were on the album were a new group, you know. I mean, near me, you know what I mean, and me near them, you know, like, but the bass player has only been playing bass, you know, when he did it 6 months, and the other guitar player was 7 months.
But didn't you have some that you had from the first?
Just the drummer, and he left immediately afterwards. And the other guitar player had been with me for 2.5 years. And Vic had only been playing bass clarinet, who played on Hair Pie Bake 1 for 3 days. And I'd only played the horn 120 times or so, something like that. Somebody was keeping tally on me. I think it was the drummer who left immediately after the album. Tallywhacker.
Who about playing live gigs?
Live gigs?
Yeah.
As opposed to
where
dead
some-
gigs?
No. Playing gigs, okay.
I enjoy that.
Yeah.
I really do enjoy that. But I don't have any equipment. You see, I've never gotten a royalty check on an album yet in the whole time I've been in the business.
Nothing?
I've never made any money. My income tax for the last 5 years in the music business has been $165. you know what I mean? Back.
How do you survive without getting into
Ah,
detail on that? But
on thin air.
fantastic.
And I think that's the only way to survive. Yeah, they try to charge me for every hole I've got. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every hole I've got, they think there's a market for. And that includes everybody that has holes. Right?
How's life out on the desert?
You're gonna go out. You're gonna go out there. The last time I went out to the desert, the last time the desert went out to me is more like it. You know what I mean? Would you like me to read a poem
Sure.
for the air?
Sure, I'd love it.
Stop for a second.
Okay. Testing. Yeah.
Ready? It's like a white onion-fleshed pumpkin, tiny black eyes and round paper hairs, laughing white collars that wave like jokers, minced muted in the huffing dry morning wind that jingled like fish bones. The black felt loam seeped hungrily, and the waxy pepper stones puffed green, tongued cactus with red hat thorny flowers, seeped lazy in their thirst, searching in their protected nakedness in the bottom of Arizona's ocean. The sun stroked the gray-fleshed drunk curtains, and a lizard flipped off like a star of scales and puked a fly of a yolk-yellow, throaty chirp. A senseless dust devil sucked the brush debris chimney, soaring invisible waterfalls and drenched the still mirror. A Joshua grated and danced, a crow on each hand finger, its green straw hat tipped off balance and web-like, and spoke in myth whispers. Deserted lady beautiful, barren, a kangaroo rat swallowed its cotton nest from a feathered shadow jerking. Her face tattooed with life forever, a picket fence poked the wet morning apron and ran around a tree.
This thing of what? Just being attached to a record company.
Well, it's the condition of the art. You know, I neither blame it on myself or the record company. You know what I mean? Because they have to go through those outlets, you know, that have those, you know, nose cones. You know, like we were talking about earlier about the moon, you know. And they're just like closed channels, you know, and it's as if they have to, you know, open those doors, and it costs them, you know, time, money, you know. I don't know what else, you know. I know I couldn't do business.
Lack of self-respect.
Lack of self-respect to be able to open those doors. So what can I say? You know what I mean? Really, you know, what can I say? You know, like if they get back at me and have their little bit of fun on top of my music, you know, I don't think that it completely covers my music. It's the way I feel about crowds now. You know, covering that with the phasing and everything, and not telling me about it while I was over in Europe. You know, trying to make enough money to be able to to continue with art. And he did that. I don't think he should have done that, but I didn't hit him in the mouth. He must really have a need. I don't know why he doesn't pick up an instrument himself, because if he did, he couldn't play any worse or any better than I do. and I couldn't play any worse and any better than he does if I picked up an instrument. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a good.
What can you do after all? You know what I mean? What can you do? Thank you. It's a nice straight cigarette bud from Bazaar.
You can be deluded, you know.
It's a nice cigarette. Kite. It's a kite.
I think art has a function.
Pardon me?
Art has a
I
function.
don't believe there are many. Is he going to be in my group? Or is he already in my group? What do you mean, do I think art has a function? Or do you know what you mean when you ask me that, or do I know what I mean when I ask you
I
that?
guess I was jumping a couple of questions that I could have asked in advance, which is this sort of state of. Last night I was talking to someone who's a painter. He's unknown, friend up in Berkeley.
I like him.
And he was.
Unknown friend up in Berkeley.
Yeah.
It's a nice line.
When you said who, I thought, okay, I should, to clarify, that, all right. And I don't know, it just somehow or another got into this thing of, which essentially what we started talking to in the beginning about. Having to shape things so that they would sell.
You mean shape things so that they will go through
like commercial
a certain
art,
door, to go out into the air again?
Right, yeah.
I think it's really funny, man. Real funny. Real funny. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm not saying.
Well, if a General Motors Chevrolet, which is an art statement, can drive down the street, and completely be untouched, I think it's real funny.
Untouched? What do you mean untouched?
I mean, leave the design board the way it is and go out there and be more significant than, say, some of the work of Vincent van Gogh. I think it's real funny.
But it's not.
I think that's commercial art. Well, I saw a man's head in the grill of a Buick, and I saw a woman's butt on the back of a Cadillac, and I saw a diamond ring for headlights. Do you know what I mean? And I saw a horse in a pasture, and I looked at him a long time, and then I saw a Mustang driving down the street, and it hardly seems significant.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm no judge. Far be it from me to be a judge. I've got a Volvo. I'm just kidding. I think the cars were prettier a long time ago, when they were cars, until they became. I can't hardly see a car as a replacement for good old sex. You know what I mean? Or good young sex, which can get you put in jail if you're good old, or if you're good young. I don't know. It's all sort of weird, isn't it? I don't know. I just I don't hate anything. Do you? I don't think you do.
No, not really.
I don't think you'd be in here if you did. Or I don't think that we'd be talking if you did. Probably be fighting, wouldn't we? We were that far out from being able to communicate.
Yeah.
And then we blame it on an ego problem, right? Or an ocelot.
An ocelot.
I just thought I'd put on a plug for nature. You know what I mean?
Do you think is it just like
If you feed an ant sugar, it won't eat poison. I don't know what that means. Just came out. Then it went in. Then it came out. Then it went in. Then it came out. Then it went in. All the time I was breathing. Then it came out. Then it went in. Then it came out. Then it went in. All the time I was breathing.
do you think there is sort of I don't know what to call it, not answer, but that's other than just each person finding their own, this whole thing of like most of the friends I have are artists, they're usually painters, sculptors, you know. And
I think it's a shame that they label them artists.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's a shame you have to say that
Yeah.
So you have friends, you know what I mean? Don't you? You know it is. Well, I bet you if you put this on the radio, you don't cut it, that you won't be on the radio anymore.
Oh no, that's not true.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. That's why I'm just staying in Philadelphia, which I don't like that much.
Man, I do.
Do you?
Now.
Oh. Yeah.
I've always liked their cheese. If it's anything, I think of Philadelphia as you know, nice and bland and creamy, you know.
I didn't finish that question.
Go ahead.
I could stick in another tape to finish it.
Lori? Lori? Just tell me what time it is.
7:30.
7:30.
We'll finish up after this.
Yeah, because Vicky won't
Yeah. That's cool.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you what. You want me to have her called? Because I'm gonna have Jeff go next door and call the woman and call her. Because next door the woman will let us call any time. As a matter of fact, you could go call if you wanted. What do you want me to have? Jeff? Where are you now? Jeff? Where are you now?
I'm gonna let you go get on.
Oh. How is it?
It's fine.
It sure is. What about calling for him next door and telling him his wife?
Okay.
Wow, the
I'll
quest.
be there in a little while.
So you're from Philadelphia also? Are you married?
No, just living together.
That's better. Then you don't get into that so much. Then you don't have to be,
Yeah.
have all these things like would you like to come to our new shopping sale? And would you like to have a new sale on your boat? And all that.
Yeah, the guns are all sort of pointed.
No welcome wagon. Are you moving from your neighborhood?
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, man. No welcome mat?
No, we can't handle that.
Uh, what are we going to do now?
I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna ask. I don't know. I think
We should have
you've
done this
answered
outside,
it.
man.
I get a lot of birds in here anyway.
You know what?
Yeah.
Well, it would have been good, though, wouldn't it? They'd have probably thought they were mechanical anyway. Not the birds. Oh, what was the question now?
Somebody will play.
It's really hard to talk up here, isn't it? In this area. Isn't it, though?
I don't know.
I mean, it really is hard to talk about the world, you know,
Maybe it's all.
when it's talking right to us, you know. It talks so loud, you know.
Maybe it's easier to talk.
The world
because
talks
it's
so
cut off.
loud, though, you know,
Yeah.
itself out here that, you know, it makes us sound kind of corny, doesn't it? You know, when the birds talk. Doesn't it, though?
Wow. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
We're sort of
That makes it, the singing is a little hard out. I don't think we're that bad, though.
You travel around, play for people. All?
Do I ever travel around?
Yeah, play with the group. Or are you
Oh.
going to? Just,
Yeah, I'm going to. Someday. Some fine day. I've been to Europe, you know, a lot. Been all over Europe. I even went to Newcastle, which is what they said in Europe. Why'd you go to Newcastle? I thought it was beautiful. People are beautiful in Newcastle.
Really?
They loved Bernard Coleman and John Coltrane and
Jesus, really?
Stockhausen and
I lived up there for about a few days. And
I loved it up there, man. I really did. I heard that it was, you know, like the people were different there than they were in London. And yeah, they were different.
Yeah. Quite some accents up there.
Yeah.
Part Scottish, part
Yeah, they can't actually communicate to somebody from over here as good as the people over there can communicate in London to somebody over here. But the mere fact that they can't communicate so good makes them have to use the real communication.
She thanked me for saving her. She said she didn't know what she was doing.
Wow.
It's true, you know that. I mean, you've been there.
Yeah.
I'd like to say one other thing before we finish this question, you know, that can never be answered or never be asked.
No, you did answer it. That's the funny thing.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, the thing is that I think that it's really nice what John Lennon's doing.
He's having a tough time.
I think it's really nice what he's doing. I think it's beautiful. I really do think it's a heavy thing by being a light thing. I think it's a very natural thing that he's doing, and I think that's maybe why he's having a tough time. I hope he gets it across, because I think it's right. I really do. I think that, at least the way I received it, I felt that it was right.
That's right.
Talking about the bed end, you know. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think it's great. I'm really glad he did it. I think it's one of the most beautiful blows for freedom I've seen in a long time, you know, within the structure of art. You know what I mean? Don't you? I do. I know it is. I know it. I know that it's one of the best things I've seen them do with their money. I think he's definitely giving back, to the children that helped him get where he was. What they should get back. Don't you?
Do you think they'll listen?
I think a lot of them already have. Anybody that saw it, I don't see why they should have to listen. You know what I mean?
They're not taught that way.
I don't think that has to be taught.
But
I think that's the trouble.
But what they've been taught has to be overcome.
I don't think it can be overcome
What they've been taught.
or undercome. I think that it can just be replaced, with more good thoughts. You know what I mean?
It would be nice to think that that's the way it would be.
Let's just know that's the way it will be. But then we won't get caught up in the preparation of being nice to think that it could be that way. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I doubt if it'll make much sense as far as the kind of sense that's so important.